Today, we are going to discuss about the chapter Union Legislature, and we will be discussing about the functions of Union Legislature, which is the second part of the chapter 3 in Civics, class 8. So last class, we have discussed about the structure of a Union Legislature. In that, we have discussed about the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. We have discussed elaborately about the composition, duration, qualification, disqualification, and election to the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And this part, we'll be discussing about the functions of Union Legislature. It means you all know that Parliament is the legislative organ of the government. It means it makes laws. It does not make only laws, it also revise or repeal, cancel the existing laws. Not only making laws, it also discusses issues of national importance and passes the budget and hold the executive accountable to the happenings in the government of India. So in such a case, when a law has to be made, it is the process, in law-making process, it starts with the introduction of the bill. That is in either house of the parliament. It might be in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha, but the law-making process starts with the initiation of introduction of a bill. The bill is introduced either in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha. What do you mean by a bill? It means a bill is a proposal for legislation, and it becomes only a law when duly enacted. So as I told you, that bill is a proposal of a law. It gives the structure and the vision and the objectives in which the law has to be. So the bills that are introduced in the parliament are of two kinds, that is a public bill, that is government bill, or a private bill, that is a private member bill. Though we have two kinds of bill, that public bill and private bill. The bill introduced in the parliament has been categorized into four different classifications. Number one, ordinary bill. Number two, a money bill. Number three, financial bill. And number four, constitution amendment bill. And now we will be discussing about what is an ordinary bill and how the ordinary bill becomes a law or an act. So as I told you, that a bill is a proposal of a law. It starts with the introduction of the bill. A law making process starts with the introduction of the bill. So in case of ordinary bill, it can be introduced in either house of the parliament, that is either in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha. So only after it becomes an act, it finds a place in the statute book. But before that, it goes into 5 different processes. 5 stages. If a bill has to become a law, that is the first reading, second reading, third reading, and bill in the second house, and the assent of the president. So in the first reading is a stage where a bill is introduced in either house of the parliament. Either in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha. Ordinary bill can be introduced either in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha. Before introduction of the bill, the member who wants to introduce the bill has to ask the leave of the house from the speaker of Lok Sabha or the chairman of Rajya Sabha. When the house grants leave to introduce the bill, the mover of the bill introduces it by reading its title and the objectives. Here in the first reading, as I told you earlier, it is just only an introduction of the bill and no discussion will take place in this stage. And then it move on to second stage, the second reading, and this is the main stage because the entire bill assumes the shape and structure only in this reading, second reading. Hence, this is the most important stage in the enactment of the bill. Here in second reading, it involves 3 stages, that is a stage of general discussion, committee stage, and consideration stage. In case of general discussion, the printed copies of an ordinary bill is objectives and the class by class, everything is printed, and the printed copies of that bill are distributed to all the members of that particular house, either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. The principles of the bill and its provisions are generally discussed, but they are not discussed very detailedly. They are just discussed on the outline. Then after that, the stage is very important. That committee is made, and this entire process of work is given to the committee stage. That the committee examines the bill thoroughly in detail and class by class. And after completing the provisions and after completing the scrutiny, the committee submits the bill in the house. And the third stage, sub-stage in second reading is the consideration stage. This is where the committee, which has given its reasons after scrutinying it properly, here in consideration stage, the bill is considered class by class and each class is voted upon separately. Here the members of the parliament can move any amendments, and if accepted, it also becomes a part of the bill. Amendment, it means any change in the particular bill in a provision or a class. If any change has to be made, and if it is accepted in this consideration stage, and automatically that too will take place in the part of the bill. Then after completing this consideration stage, the third reading is very important stage, because it is the stage where the bill is either accepted or rejected as a whole and no amendments are allowed. In this reading, a bill is accepted or rejected, and as I told you earlier, no amendments, I mean no changes are allowed at this stage. And if it is accepted and all the people who are present in the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha will vote, and if the bill is accepted, it is regarded as that it has been passed in that particular house and it is given to the second house. For example, if it is passed in Lok Sabha, it is given to the Rajya Sabha, or else if it is given to the Rajya Sabha, it is passed in Rajya Sabha, it is given to the Lok Sabha. The same procedure that what have been done in the first reading, second reading and third reading, and the same bill has to pass through all these three stages in the second house of the bill. And after that, after completing three stages, the second house has four alternatives. It means it may pass the bill as such the first house was given to them. It means without any changes in the bill. Or sometimes it may pass the bill with amendments and return to the first house for consideration. It means the second house will prescribe or detailedly scrutinize the bill class by class, and they will give the idea that there has to be some changes in the bill. And it will send to the first house for the consideration. And the third option is that it may reject the bill altogether, and fourth, it may not take any action and keep it pending for more than 6 months. In such a case, if the second house passes the bill without any amendments, or if the first house accepts the amendments suggested by the second house, the bill is deemed to be passed. I mean, if the second house returns the bill without any change, or if the second house suggests some considerations or suggests some ideas, and if it is accepted and if it is considered by the first house, then obviously the bill is deemed to have been passed by both the houses and it is sent to the president for his assent. But on the other hand, if the first house rejects the changes that are suggested by the second house, or if the second house rejects the bill together, or if the second house does not take any action for that particular bill for more than 6 months, here a deadlock is deemed to have been taken place. If deadlock is deemed to have been taken place, then the president can summon a joint sitting of the two houses. A joint sitting is a place, it means the members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will sit together and discuss about this bill, and then after discussion they will be made to. You all know that if there is a joint sitting, the majority of the reason, it means the bill can be passed if it is passed by the Lok Sabha, because you see there are 552 members in the Lok Sabha, but there are 250 members in Rajya Sabha. The strength is more in Lok Sabha, so therefore if there is any provision of, there is any case in case of joint sitting, ultimately we can always think that the bill will be passed by the Lok Sabha because of the strength. And after that, if it is given to the president for his signature, every bill after being passed by both houses of the parliament is presented to the president for his signature. Here, the president has three alternatives. Either he may give his assent, I mean he may signature, he may sign in that particular bill, and after his signature it becomes an law. He may do so, but or he may return the bill for reconsideration. He may suggest some ideas, and he may think that he needed some amendments, and he may return the bill for the reconsideration. And he can withhold his assent to the bill. So my dear students, here the president is having three different types of alternatives, and one such power we will be discussing is the discretionary power of the president. So here President has three different alternatives, and if the President gives his assent to the bill, it becomes an act and it is placed on the statute book. So now we have discussed about that how this particular bill, I mean ordinary bill, becomes a law. And in case of a money bill, is a bill which deals with the issues such as the receipts and spending of money by the government. I mean taking out money from the Consolidated Fund of India and Contingency Fund of India. In such a case, or borrowing money and expenditure of the government. In such a case, such kind of a bill, a money bill, can only be introduced in Lok Sabha, and it can only be introduced by the minister, and it can only be introduced on the recommendation of the president. But in case of ordinary bill, it can be introduced in either house of the parliament, it can be introduced either by the minister or the private members, and it need not want any recommendation of the president. But in case of a money bill, it is must that it must be recommended by the president, because it deals with the taxes and the expenditure of the government. So now we are about to see what are the parliamentary proceedings. In a parliamentary democracy, one of the most important functions of the legislature is to keep a check on the executives. This parliamentary legislation lawmaking body always keep a checks on the executives. The members of the parliament, especially those belonging to the opposition, can question the ruling government actions and policies. For example, if any law is made against the will of the wish of the people, as we have seen in the chapter 1, law and dissentment, the opposition party can question the ruling government and criticizes the action of the ruling government and the policies. So because of this, the lawmaking process will always ensure that it safeguards the security and ensure the social welfare of the democratic nation. So how this is being done with the opposition party? There are a lot of ways. One such way is the question hour. Any member of the parliament starts questioning in the first hour of the parliament, I mean from 11 AM to 12 PM. The first hour of every parliamentary sitting is known as the question hour. During this hour, the member of a parliament, most probably the member from the opposition party, will always ask questions to the minister, and the minister must give his answer, and the minister usually gives his answer. This is one kind of proceedings that is happening in the parliament. And second one is adjournment motion. What is meant by adjournment? Adjournment motion, it means it is introduced in the parliament to draw the sudden attention of the house to a definite matter of a public importance. If there is any important issue of a national issue, the proceedings of the house is adjourned for a while, and then this matter which drew the attention of the national public importance will be discussed, and such kind of a motion is known as adjournment motion. And next one is no confidence motion. It means if the legislature, I mean the Lok Sabha, you know that Lok Sabha is subject to dissolution, and if Lok Sabha loses its confidence, obviously the Council of Ministers must resign collective. And next one is impeachment. Impeachment is a process in which a president can be removed. That's it. It is a process in the parliament in which a president of India can be removed from office for the violation of constitution. So with this, we have completed our chapter 3.